the job, and he's calling Mrs. Bumgardner, which was the owner, and they're going to sue over this, and they're going to sue this, blah, blah, blah. Everything's a lawsuit. Well, Bumgardner panicked and told this guy that if I bought the property, she'd let him off the hook. So that's how I came back in on it. But in the interim period of me being out of the picture and him signing the sales agreement, they had a contract with Whitwright, which is a scrap dealer, and there was an awful lot of scrap here. There was a road grader, there were school buses, there were step vans, there were dump truck beds.
I wonder if she went bonkers.
Yeah. Oh, the place looked bad. But you had to be able to see through that.
Yeah.
So anyway, they hired this Whitwright, and the deal was that he wanted something like, I think like $1,000 to clean it up. And the deal was that if they'd pay him $500, and his $500 would then come from the scrap iron. Well, okay, that was signed, and he came in with his trucks, and he removed everything of value, and he left a bunch of trash still here that he should have, by contract, he should have been, but I didn't sign the contract, it had nothing to do with it. So anyway, as far as I'm concerned, he came in and stole all the landscaping stone, whatever was available from the old mill, and along with, I guess, the marketable scrap.
Mm-hmm.
Then he left the other, the sheet metal and things like that for me. And let's see, I spent probably 2 years just getting some of the scrap out of here. But anyway, that's what happened to the stone.
Well, John Roper is listed in the First Families of Ohio.
Uh-huh.
And I think to be listed, you have to be a resident, before 1816 or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing the homestead goes back even earlier than what's the record of it, at least to then.
Now, when I was mucking through the archive, we did find some information. Apparently, John Roper owned property also in the city of Chardon, about where the library is located, which is across from the big square that's in the center of Chardon. Mm-hmm. Apparently, he owned a couple of houses in that area. I don't know what he was doing with them, and that was about the same time he was working on putting the mill in. And now, whether he whether he sold those properties and moved out here afterwards, that's unclear. It's just not in the record.
Yeah.
What we might be looking at too is, given the winters, it might be that in winters you live in town.
Could be.
And then when the weather gets better, then you come out here and do whatever you do out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm guessing they didn't have the kind of snow removal back then that they have now.
No, and 4 miles would have been
you want to get into town, you had to get the old horse and hooked up to the buggy, and it wasn't an easy trek as it is today. Even though it's not far, it probably would be a real chore. And like you say, Chardon gets an awful lot of snow and no snow removal equipment, so you'd have to have skis or something. I don't know what a horse would do in this kind of weather, but there certainly couldn't have been a lot of traffic here in the winter time.
And even though it's only,
I think the way this house was built, with the high ceilings and the plaster walls and all the woodwork, it wasn't a cheap home at the time. I think it was somebody that probably had a good influence on the economy of the area, you know, I guess some of the bigger businesses at that time were sawmills and grist mills and this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're I guess the sawmill, the grist mill owner was the Osborne, we'll say, of Sidley of his time.
You know, curiously, one of the things that confuses the record a little bit is that there were two John Ropers here, and one of them was, if I'm remembering correctly, was a somewhat recent immigrant from England,
Yes.
and then the other one, which is the one that we descend from, was, you know, out of New England, and had come here and settled all of this. I don't know when the other one arrived, but I think there are the two of them on the 1850 census, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes, I believe so. And I think the other Roper settled in Hamden Township, which is right next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So there were, yeah.
Well, you've done quite a bit of research then on to the family history.
Well, I've been doing it for 54 years.
Oh yeah! Wow.
it's got a head start on the rest of us.
I guess. Yeah.
In
Terrific.
fact, I knew my grandmother, whose maiden name was Roper, our grandmother, whose maiden name was Roper, and I had the opportunity to interview her, and she gave me a lot of the information, including pictures that go back. And I think John Roper's son was Rudolphus. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes.
And Rudolphus was a blacksmith,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know where, you may know, because you've studied it a lot more than I have, the area. I don't know exactly where he was at, but we have a picture of Rudolphus, so we actually have a picture of the son of the original settler that was here.
Oh, for crying out loud. What year would that be?
Well, let's see, I can probably,
Well, approximately. What are you talking about?
well, I can deal with exacts.
Okay. All right.
I just, okay, so now, I've got the entire genealogy of this phone.
Great.
I think this is interesting with this door.
Pardon?
I said, I think that's interesting about that door.
Oh, the coffin door.
I never
yeah.
had heard that, of a coffin
I guess
door.
you know, a lot of there weren't funeral homes at the time, so I remember as a child going to my uncle's funeral, and it was in the living room.
Oh,
That would have been in the in the late 30s. I'm sure. I'm not sure when. It was prior to World War II. My guess 39, something like 30 to 38.
By the way,
Well, Rudolphus's son, Frank Henry, was born in 1863. And so, if you just use the mathematics that's normally used, let's see, he would have been born probably around 1830, something like that. Rudolphus would have been.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and let me, the reason I say I haven't put those two together. Oh, it's because there's no internet connection here.
No,
doggone.
that's a problem
Well, no,
here because of the valley.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. So as far as I can give you on my phone from right here, it would have been about 1830, but somehow in my mind I think he might have been born just a little bit earlier than that, Rudolphus. But, so...
Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh. Yeah, we've got a problem with a phone. I've got a cell phone, and we also have a landline. Yeah, I've got to have the landline. And just untold problems I'm having with the landline. You know, like the landline works fine for one day, and the next day there's so much static on it, you know, you can't talk to anybody. Just had the service guy out here last Thursday. And he told me that when they put the line in, they forgot to, whoever did it didn't bury half the line. So half the line was underground, the other half was above, and the mice were eating it.
is it
So
rocky?
that's why I phoned, my internet and everything was going out, so I was trying to rely on the cell phone.
Yeah.
But you can't get anything in the house with the cell phone. I have to go out by the garage or out in the front yard or something.
Well, that explains why the connection didn't. What it was Frank Henry Roper, the grandson of John, was archived on my phone, and so I could pull him up. But when I tried to see the next one back, it wasn't archived there. So
Yeah.
yeah. But anyhow, from our grandmother, we have pictures of her parents and then her grandparents, and so it's. And had I not interviewed her back when I started all of this, of course that would all be gone somewhere.
We lost.
Probably in a Cracker Barrel on a wall somewhere.
Well, I don't know. Box somewhere, shoe box up in the attic where happens to all my old photos when the mice ate them. But it's a good thing you've kept them like that. It's
Well,
good
so
history
now they're
to have.
electronically available, so they'll be there for anybody and everybody.
Yeah, great.
But those doors are remarkable. And this back one behind is what they call the coffin door.
Yeah.
I've never heard of one, something like that. That's very interesting.
What I'm impressed by is what must have been a very substantial home in its day. I mean,
Well, that's why I was saying it was not a cheaply built home for its day. It was because it's not real light construction.
Well, it seems tight in here.
Well, it is now, but when we moved in here, you could see outside.
Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, still, it would
Well, you've done a
indicate that
great
it was
job.
well built to
Yes,
begin with.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
And I imagine much of the lumber was probably milled right here on
I'm
site.
sure it was.
Yeah.
And part of the structural problem with this house is years ago when they used to build a home, they had in the floor joists they had what they call a fire cut. You recall that?
No.
And what the fire cut was the joist here at the top of the floor here, and then it was set on the foundation. So come along here, and this set on the foundation here. But let's say this was a 2x10. I might cut it down to 2x8 to sit with the fire cut to sit on that. And the
Okay.
reason for that was there were so many fires at that time. When the timbers would collapse, if they were full cut, they would push the foundation out. So they had what they call the fire cut.
Oh, so
in.
it all collapsed within the foundation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the reason for it. So the floors are spongy here. This one upstairs was like a trampoline.
Oh,
So I had to do some extensive structural work in here, and that's one of the reasons I redid this entire ceiling.
Now, your knowledge of this surpasses what most people would have. So, are you a builder by profession or
No.
just avocation?
I was an engineer.
An engineer. Okay.
well, that kind of explains it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and I sit here and I can look out, and I've seen squirrels scampering across here, and
Yeah, when we were remodeling this place, we turned this into our bedroom, and then we did the rest of the house. We could sit here at night and watch the deer out here. They ate these. They love these shrubs,
yeah.
and they actually walked up here on the front porch. They'd actually be sitting here with their nose up against the glass,
Oh
looking
my
in.
gosh. Oh, is that nice? That's
Yeah.
really nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And of course, you couldn't keep the squirrels out of the house because
Yeah.
there were so many openings.
yeah.
And I always thought squirrels were more of a daytime animal.
They're busy at night.
Yeah, like bowling for bucks. All you could hear is the walnuts rolling down.
So, when you acquired this property, did you get an abstract on it,
Mm,
where it gives every
I know what
owner-
an abstract is. I think so. I think so, but I have no idea where it is.
Yeah. I mean, that would answer all those questions in terms, but I think the maps have answered.
Well, okay, what I got on it did not answer any of the,
the previous owner questions.
yeah, it wasn't what I would have considered a historical abstract from day one.
Okay.
And whatever they use in between that time and the titles, that's kind of what we have.
Okay, well, in fact, if you go back to the original structure, that might have predated that type of record keeping anyway.
Yeah, possibly. So, yeah, I don't remember exactly what the heck I got with it. But there was something similar to an abstract. And then the title, which is what we have now.
So the Bumgardners were the ones that owned it before?
Yeah.
Do you
I
have
think
any idea
it-
how long they had owned it?
Well, I thought they owned it. It was the Bumgardner family for many years. But now you're bringing up your family. So your family obviously was the one that started it, and I don't know if Bumgardner was any relationship to them or not.
No, the reason I'm asking the question, I'm aware of a Bumgardner connection into the Roper family.
Oh, you are?
And so I'm, I'm just, that's why I was wondering if, because it could be Bumgardner and Bumgardner,
Yeah.
but that's why I was asking if you had any idea how long they maybe held the property, because they could be the Bumgardner tie, and so then I could trace how the property probably transferred. But I mean, if they were long-term owners, then
Well, I do believe they were long-term owners.
so if they were long-term owners, I can probably Tom sort
I
that out. and let
know
you
they were
that.
owners pre-World War II.
Yeah.
Actually, if we go into the archives up in Chardon, down in Chardon, and look up the Bumgardners, we'd probably be able to find that information. They have, all the records are there. They're just buried. You just have
I'm
to take the time to dig through them.
I'm doing this from memory now.
Yeah.
Since I don't have internet, but I think it was a daughter named Hazel that married into the Bumgardner family,
Okay.
and I'm trying to remember if Hazel would have had to have been a Rudolphus daughter.
Could they have been from a town called Painesville?
Oh, absolutely. The family was deeply connected to Painesville.
Yes, so I'm pretty sure that's the same family.
Yeah.
That's where this Bumgardner
Yeah.
was from. And there's something, I remember one of the Bumgardner daughters was telling us one time that there was some kind of a fire they had there in the home they had in Painesville, and some of the family members were killed in the fire.
Yeah.
But she didn't have names or anything like that.
I could probably fill most of that in, but the family also was connected with Wycliffe and Painesville.
Mm-hmm. Wycliffe, aha. And,
In fact, there are burials there
Oh.
of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So the family, when you hear that early, and the spread out,
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to know how this property probably descended.
Hmm.
Yes.
And at that time period, Geauga County included all of Lake County. The two had not separated at
Yes,
that time.
I was aware of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Painesville was really part of Geauga County.
Yeah. What year did that split, offhand?
I think it was 1850.
So right around the time
55?
that this house was built.
Yeah, but it would have been after this house was built. This house would have probably been here already at that time.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
interesting.
the argument, the political argument at the time, if I recollect, was where the county seat was going to be. There's a group that wanted to have it up in Painesville, and there was a group that wanted to have it in Chardon, and eventually they just cut the township or cut the county in half into two towns, or 2 counties, Lake
Yeah.
County and
Oh.
Geauga County.
Oh.
Well, you know, had we not sat down and just chit-chatted, that Bumgarner connection would not have surfaced.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that we've done this
Mhm.
because, you know, the history of the property is interesting, and Tom Murray's here, you know, we can kind of get this connected, and if you're interested, we can share it with you so you would have that history of connection.
Oh yeah, I would. I've wanted to do what you guys are doing here for a number of years, but I've always got something, I guess, that takes a priority, and we go to. Always thought it would be a nice wintertime project, but I don't like it around here in the wintertime, so we head south. So, so my winter project, looking up the history on the home, is just getting put back year after year after year. I just haven't got there.
So how far south do you go, Chardon, or?
Yeah,
Like John did?
we go all the way to Newberry now. So. Then we go down to Stewart, Florida.
Okay. I've noticed a lot of people from this part of the country go down to Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Historically.
Uh-huh.
So,
Now, where would you go from Utah?
Well,
Would
we
you-
live in the south-
Mexico, is that the big plane?
Well, we live in the Four Corners, down by Monument Valley.
Mhm.
If you've ever watched the John Wayne movie, which I'm sure you have, most of his movies were made where we live, down in that area.
Uh-huh.
And so but we live at 6,000 foot elevation,
Mhm.
and we have to get away, you know, more frequently because for Barbra, the oxygen isn't saturated enough at that level for her. You know, she needs a lower elevation.
Yeah,
But where do we usually go? We usually go to Texas.
Texas.
We try to avoid tornado season.
Yeah. Well, 6,000 feet, yeah. This area here it's not the highest point in Ohio, but from what I've been told, it's the second highest point in Ohio. And I think we're sitting here at 1,300.
Yeah. Well, we were laughing. When we drove up to New York before we came here, and we went through Du Bois, Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
and on the road there, on I-80, there was a sign, highest point on I-80 east of the Mississippi River. It was 2280.
22.
And, you know,
Yeah, what the heck is this?
It's a valley.
You don't need oxygen there, right,
No,
Bart?
didn't need it.
Oh, darn. Do you get any bad weather in the wintertime
Well,
there?
we're what they call high desert, low alpine,
Yeah.
and we don't have the terrible winters,
Mm-hmm.
but we have occasionally we'll have a good snow, but
Mhm.
most of the time in the summer, you know, it cools off to the 40s or 50s in the evening, which is really nice,
Yeah.
and it's exceptional that we get hotter than 90 in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But right now they've gone through a real heat spell.
Yeah, I've been noticing that.
And our one son that lives there says it's been 106 degrees, which is just
Wow.
unheard of.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Wow. Now, you were there in 106 degrees?
No,
we've
he
been
said
out.
we were lucky we were
We were
gone.
gone.
It's-
Oh, you were gone.
We've,
Oh.
this is,
We've been back
at this
here.
point, we've driven 3,400 miles on this trip.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
We've been educating our, George, you're looking at the rear end of George, but we were just in Ireland here in May,
Mm-hmm.
and we thought, well, it'd be nice. The Celtic Woman was going to be playing in Salt Lake City, so
Mhm.
we came back from Ireland. We went up to Salt Lake City with him, and he got to watch Celtic Woman. And then this trip, we went down through Amarillo, Texas, and went out to Palo Duro Canyon to watch the outdoor musical Texas. He got to see that.
Oh, boy.
And then we went to Nashville. No, we went to Branson first, and we caught
Oh.
three performances: a tribute to John Denver, Broadway hits, highlights, and the Hay Goods. He got to watch all of that. Then we went to Nashville to the Ryman Theater and for the opening of Bluegrass, and he got to watch that. And we were going to go to a Yankee Ranger game in New York, but we decided against it. Went down to Times Square instead. So he got. So we're trying to give him a good education.
Oh yeah, well, you're doing a good job. I thought the Ryman was closed. I just wonder. I know the Grand Ole Opry. They got a new extravaganza there.
Well, we've done the Grand Ole Opry before, but this is the first time for the Ryman for us, and it's very likely been under our renovation, but it's open now. Originally, it was a church, and so the saying on some of the T-shirts was, we go to church every Sunday at the Ryman,
Yeah.
But,
Oh boy. Well, you've been around a lot there this year. Then it's great.
yeah. Well, there comes a point in time where if you're going to ever do it, you better do it because the time will come when you can't.
I know.
Yeah, and it sneaks up on you.
Real
Darn
fast.
right it does.
It does, yeah.
It changes your life.
It changes everything.
We don't have the 60 mark yet, but we're at 57.
57. Oh, that's great.
Getting there.
You do all the men's work?
I do. And as you were saying that,
And I think that you hit it right on.
when you were talking about that, I thought, well, that explains how our marriage has lasted so long. I never thought about it before you said that, but there's a science to it.
Yeah, well, it works, then, right, Barb?
That's exactly right. Exactly right. It's nice to hear a man say it.
Exactly. Well, Joan does an awful lot around here.
So your picture over there, is that a hunting scene or?
Yeah,
It's
that's,
like fox
that's
hunters,
some of the old hunt scenes. We've got quite a few. There's one behind you.
Oh yeah.
Some of them are quite old. That one has a lot of staining. Needs some restoration in it. I don't remember exactly where the heck she got them. But, there was a series of them. Geez, I couldn't even tell you what year they started. Somewhere in the 1800s.
So I'm wondering, on my scenes, do you ever open, do these still open?
They do, and I used to open them, but I put these I made some new storm windows
Yeah.
for them, put them on the front, and then I air conditioned the whole home. So prior to the new storm windows and the air conditioning, I had some kind of, they were ugly, beat up old screens I put on there.
Yeah.
And yes, we did for the first 10 years we were in here. I used these as functional windows to cool the living room.
Did it, is the house set so that it did cool it?
Oh sure.
Did.
Oh yeah.
Well, for a 200-year-old home, it's in pretty good condition.
That's what
It
I
is,
think.
and that's something that always amazed me. You think a house this age, just normal wear and tear of the kids running around, maybe hitting the woodwork and so forth with their toys, but this is not all beat up.
No.
I mean, those doors look like
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
they're pristine.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you refinished them, or is that no?
Haven't touched them.
So now the funeral door, is that original too? That door?
Is it which?
Original, the
Oh,
funeral
yeah,
door.
yeah, sure.
It's all original.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I changed the outside a little bit, and maybe I should have left the opening in there. I can always go back to it, it's not a big deal, but I put some shingles on the outside. But I had so many doors, and it didn't really look good from the outside to have a door there.
Yeah.
So the other problem I had with the door is, for a door that size, it's hard to get a storm door on it.
Yeah.
So I was able to overcome it on this one by putting the modern door up with a transom on the
Yeah.
top. So I've got an insulated door there, but this door certainly is not insulated.
Well, I think John would have approved.
Pardon?
I think John Roper would have approved.
Ah,
Oh, it's,
all right.
it's really, it's wonderful, it's wonderful,
Well,
very good.
I'm recording the conversation, so I can go back and do some research on some of the things that came up here.
You can edit out any of my bad stuff, you know. the hemming and the hawing.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Okay. I guess I'll just live with it then.
Oh, are you interested in looking over any of the other portion of the house?
I'm just excited to be here. Anything you want to share with us, we're excited to see.
Well, that's up to you.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to see all of it.
Oh, you would? Oh, sure. Oh, come on. I'll show you.
Don't you think he's a good little boy?
It's wonderful. You can let him out if you want.
No. Hey, this is the way he does it.
No,
Oh, all right.
You see, you can't see him because it's camouflage.
I noticed that.
he's hidden from view.
The only thing I have to make sure of is I keep him where I don't bump him into things.
Yeah. The original door here, the upstairs, was, yeah. Okay. Okay. The original door for the upstairs was right here. And it was like a 26-inch wide door.
Whoa,
So,
narrow.
yeah, no.
They didn't have conventional
Yeah.
sizes in? Obviously.
Probably not. So this was a remodel. I didn't do it, but you notice how clever they were with the stairway
Oh, wow.
there.
Look at that, Bart.
You get a decent sized door in here. But the hallway, the upstairs, is this wide. About here. So what I did is I pushed that whole wall out and put the stairs in a little wider, and then this here was square.
Go ahead.
So here you were very limited as to what you could bring up here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can see that.
So
Ah,
I made it so you could get a modern
Yeah, I've seen
mattress
it before.
and that type of thing up here.
no upright player pianos.
This was at one time 1, 2, 3 bedrooms. Okay. This was an entry into this bedroom, and then this portion over here was the only closet in the house. Because they used to tax people on the number of rooms, and they call the closet a room.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So therefore,
Interesting.
the closet space we're down to next to nothing. But there's very small bedrooms, and I just turned this one into a bathroom, and I put the new flooring down.
Wow.
And I probably could have saved what was there, but it was so difficult. And this was my trampoline floor here.
The one above the.
It's got some. It's solid now, so it's not a problem. And the ceiling just a tad low, but so it's close to 8 feet.
Wow.
So,
Oh, and it interconnects then right there.
yeah, that was into the closet. So the walls are it's all original. Woodwork, windows. I've got replacement windows in here.
That original
Yeah.
woodwork?
Pardon?
That's original woodwork?
Yeah.
Is that real walnut?
Well, I
Or is
don't
it just
think so.
stained? Oh.
Some of it is, some of it isn't. A lot of it's poplar, but there is a lot of walnut also. So I couldn't really go back and tell you what's the walnut and what isn't. But it's a mixture.
That's amazing.
It's absolutely amazing, isn't it?
I touched it to touch where he touched. Way back when.
The windows are, I like the windows are large.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
nice. They're very nice sized
They're
windows.
nice, aren't
Yes.
they? Yes. Really nice.
Yeah, with the windows open, it's bright and airy in here.
Oh yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
yeah. This was the bedroom.
Now this piece here is all added on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are 3 bedrooms up here.
Mm-hmm.
This would have been the master than the children's bedrooms, I guess.
Apparently, yeah. I put a shower in here, and I put this toilet in here. That was original.
Really? Wow. Do you see that, Tom?
This,
No, I didn't.
The white, it's white wood. That white wood's original wood.
Okay.
Look at that nice breeze coming into it. Isn't it nice?
Yeah. Man, you've done a great job
Oh,
on
this
this.
is wonderful how you've taken care of this house.
oh, thank you.
Wonderful.
This was like something from Inner Sanctum when we bought this.
Well, I bet.
Up in here.
I bet.
Very steep stairway.
Yeah. George is handling it quite well.
It was an Asian jacket.
Are you counting them?
And I still
Barbara counts everything.
No,
Will
I
you count
didn't.
the steps?
No, I didn't.
When she gets to the bottom, you can ask her, and she'll probably have told you how many there were. We won't say anything until she gets to the bottom. But it's a thing that she does.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just going to see if she's doing it. So you've counted it, so you'll know.
Yeah.
And they have
Man, this is amazing.
steps like this,
Yeah.
they're upstairs.
I'm sure glad you've done this. This is a great.
Wow, it was
Great thing
amazing
set
to
up.
find it on a map. I happened to be at one of the commissioners' meetings,
Yeah.
and they have some
I bet
maps
they
on the
were.
walls, they're for decorations. I'm looking
I
at the
never
map.
really thought much about that, but yeah,
Roper's Mill,
the,
right on the map.
even the
So
footwear.
I
you know,
asked them where they
footwear was
got that
separate.
map from,
So just going up
and
and
the
down.
county administrator says that
But
the
these were,
archive. I went down to the
these are all
archive
new
and got a
treads.
copy myself,
Yeah.
but now I misplaced
And
it.
the old treads certainly had a wear pattern to them.
Probably some of them from the bus coming down as they fell.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Barb.
No, that's all right the way it is.
Barb, how many steps were there?
I didn't count them.
You didn't count.
I always,
I told Tom
count
you were
them.
gonna count them.
I always count them, but I didn't because I was talking.
Oh.
I always, when I go steps, I always
Well,
count them.
what's normal? 12, right?
12, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's 14.
14.
Yeah. Yeah.
The angle is quite steep going up.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I was just saying. My grandparents' home in Etna, Pennsylvania, their steps are like that.
Well, Barbara and I, a couple of summers ago, were in Colesville, New York.
Where?
Colesville, it's close to Nineveh. Colesville's a township. But we were docents in a historical home of about the same age. And it had been refurbished. And this was from another common ancestor that Tom and I have. It had been a home that they had been associated with. And so, but we went back and lived in the home and showed it to people. You know, it was on the historical homes, you know, around stuff like that. So we really appreciate the home and what you've done with this place. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, you think it just would be all beat to heck, wouldn't you? Jesus.
So we might have to make
Not.
I wanted to show some pictures.
Yeah, if you want to look at the pictures.
Oh, here's what it looked like originally.
Yeah, when we moved here.
The food was
Oh, you got a dog in there.
Yeah, that's George.
Is he friendly?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's a nice
You
Give
can-
it to me.
Do you want him in the bag?
Well, I just like him without the bag.
Well,
He's a sweetie.
he doesn't mind getting out of the
He's
bag.
rambunctious though, be careful.
It's okay.
Yeah, he doesn't bite.
No, he doesn't bite.
Well, I'm not worried about biting. I don't want him to get hurt. So much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, George. Can I hold you?
Oh, yes, I'd like to hold you. Yes, I would. I think you're cute.
Yes, you are.
He's giving kisses
You're a
already.
sweetie.
He's a good little boy.
Is he really? Are you good? I guess so, or
His
they
tongue
wouldn't
is
take such
coming
good
out.
care of you.
His tongue is
Well, and
coming
he'll
out.
he'll stand this all day long.
He will.
He will stand it all day long.
Wow.
He's just very gentle, very calm,
Would you like a hot dog?
and he kisses.
Yes, he does.
Some more,
Good
yeah.
kiss right on
Do
the
it to
nose.
me again,
Hot dog,
again.
yeah. Would you like a hot dog? How about a steak?
He said, "You're talking my kind of talk
How
now."
about chicken? Would you like chicken? I could do that.
Oh,
How old
you're
is
gonna
he?
put me to
3 years.
He's
sleep.
3.
Oh, you're a sweetie.
He's my dog because I have a really bad trimmer,
Mm-hmm.
and so he's my.
He's your therapy dog.
Oh, he's a
Yeah.
sweetheart.
Yeah, Dorothy's a good boy.
Yes, he is.
I forgot, you told me the breed that
He's a
he is.
chihuahua, a blue chihuahua.
He's a blue,
That's right,
blue
he's a
chihuahua.
blue chihuahua.
What
That's
makes him
right.
blue?
This
Oh,
color.
It's,
the coloring.
it's very exceptional, or very rare. You can't breed them. You can't put 2 blue chihuahuas and get another blue chihuahua.
It just happens.
It just-
It's an accidental
Oh, he says,
outcome.
It's a color breed.
I want to go with
Yeah.
my mother and my father.
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to go.
Now you have his hairs
Goodbye,
to
George.
remind you.
It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
That's cute.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, you
good
go back in,
size
George.
for a chihuahua.
Oh.
He says, oh, he's not
Oh, do I
good
have
now.
to?
This
He's
lady's
so
friend.
quiet.
Yeah.
What a sweetie.
I don't think I've ever heard him bark, ever.
Oh, he barks.
I don't think we've heard him.
No,
He,
no.
if he gets around another dog, he'll do a low
Oh,
growl.
oh, territorial.
Well,
Yeah.
why don't you leave him in while you go look around the property?
Leave him in where? Leave him
Right
here?
in,
Yeah, he'll
right
be,
here.
We
Yeah.
can do that.
I'll watch him.
Okay.
so there's only
I
room
want
for
to show you
3
guys what
in the
this
pagoda.
What this
No,
was
no,
originally.
I'll
You
wait,
really-
1, 2, 3, I'll wait.
You really want to see it?
Well,
It's amazing.
Yeah, we'll take you around after
They
because
need to
it's,
see it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
If it rides for you.
Tom,
This
did you
was
get
the
that photo?
downstairs bedroom.
Oh, okay.
And
Would this have been a
This
guest
would have
bedroom?
been,
yeah.
okay.
apparently, and it was very tiny, and there was the door was like this. And no closet, of course, or anything, so I built this wall in the closet.
Now, I've never seen something like this. I'm sure it's something you just put on the wall.
Yeah, it's a
but
border.
it's a border. It looks
Yeah.
almost like the scrimshaw designs, from the whalers.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what it was made to look like, sure.
Yeah.
But most of the people put it up at the ceiling. Jim just put it down here,
I think it was a
lower, like a
great
chair
des-
rail type.
Great decision.
Yeah, very nice. And this was the only bathroom in the house. And notice how narrow the door is. And the end of the bathroom was right here. And there's a toilet here. Bowl, toilet was here. Basin over here, and then right behind you was the door to get down to the basement.
Unfinished basement?
Yeah.
Like a fruit cellar? Or?
Yeah, it was at a.
We're just so fortunate.
This was another outside wall right here. And that was the door down to the basement. Sandstone, I still have the I just covered the sandstone up because they're too heavy, I couldn't move them.
So they're just like this linoleum, or is that something?
That's a
what-
tile.
It's a tile.
Yeah.
So you just put tile over the sandstone.
No, I framed over the stone steps
Okay.
and put this whole thing. But if you take these steps out, there's the original stone steps down to the basement.
Okay, I understand. Good. Yeah.
Something did this last night, digging down in from the outside. I don't really know what the heck they are, gophers of some sort. But
So here you touch the
most of this here
stonework right
has been remodeled. But there was a a big, just a plank type door here. And then they had like a couple of 2x4s or something went across into brackets to keep people out.
Wow.
And this is all added.
I'm guessing at the time that they originally built this, they probably still had Indians in this area and things like that, or?
Oh, sure, I bet they did, yeah. 1840s, wouldn't you think so?
I would
Or
imagine so,
1816
yes.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Huh. But I've been kind of working at this, and I had, we had so much dust and stuff, I had to put this concrete down over this nice river stone. I hated to do it, but I just had to.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like the walls are just stuccoed over the stone.
Here you
That's not stucco,
Not
that's
stucco?
just paint.
Paint, okay.
Oh, excuse me, yes it is, it's parged, you're right.
But here, you can actually touch the stone here.
Yeah. Look how thick these walls are.
Now, that looks like a brick that's in there, or is that a
Oh.
wood?
Well, it might be because there was a door in here.
Yeah.
So I imagine they put, yeah, that's wood.
Yeah.
So there's another one over here. So I imagine they put the timbers in there, something to nail the frame onto. But this thing, this
This is more
basement,
like the original.
yeah, this basement just amazes me. Because you got, some of these old basements, you had to kind of walk down like this, and you're still
Yeah.
banging your head. But
So you
here,
have
even with the concrete floor that I put in here, a couple inches of concrete, I still have
wow.
plenty of ceiling.
That is remarkable.
It is.
Well, the
And
mere
look
fact
how
that
straight those walls are.
yeah.
This is the fire cut I was telling you about. Right here.
Okay. And that's because it collapsed in.
Yeah.
In case of fire.
Yes, so
Wow.
instead of knocking the...
Boy, that's really
Foundation.
negative thinking.
Well, fire was a pretty common thing at that time.
A foundation was probably more valuable than the house.
Yeah, yeah. This is all original. I didn't done. Well, somebody obviously pointed that up. I didn't do it. And this is probably more like what it would look like
Down there.
if it was not touched. So. These are, full 2x8, right from the sawmill, and I think they're poplar. They're not what if I was picking out a
Definitely
wood
not pine.
No, if I was picking out wood for flooring, I certainly wouldn't use that. But it was obviously what was the most common wood available
Yeah.
at the time.
Well, compared to some of the other hardwoods, it's a lightweight wood, which would probably
very-
make it a lot
very
easier to work
light,
with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get you on that one?
Oh, I was looking up and I wasn't watching where I was stepping.
Okay.
I've been trying to fix some of these joists here by trying to make a sandwich out of it, but it's just I can't get any glue to hold on this old wood, because you can put your fingernail in here.
Oh,
Like
really?
I'm
Yeah.
doing here, and see,
it's
that's what
Spongy,
happened. Yeah, so
That's
you
what
put
these
glue
do.
on there, and the glue just
Sucks in.
doesn't hold any. So my efforts are
So you put
Are
in
not-
bolts to it. And,
yeah.
well, that's how they used to hold the old buildings together, right? They'd run those bolts through them and
Yes.
put those stars
Put those-
on the end.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So now you know why they did it. You see this, Tom? This seems to be pretty much the original right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know, this hasn't been touched. It's, so right now.
So from this point back here, this is all add-on then?
Yeah. So this you'd be standing outside now.
Yeah.
Roof over your head, but
Okay.
outside nonetheless. And the original wall, again, that's it right there.
Well, when you started working with it, you could actually still see the horsehair fiber.
Oh,
used
sure.
In the plaster. And
Oh yeah, absolutely.
is there a reason they would use horsehair?
I think it was just like a binding agent, you know, like you'd put reinforcing wire into concrete.
Yeah.
They put the horsehair in there to just to keep it from
Hold it together.
falling apart there, yeah, cracking and falling off.
Well, that's what they had, didn't they?
Yeah.
I do
And
that today with concrete. They mix fiber into it.
Yeah, yeah,
instead
sure,
of-
yeah. Yeah, this is all new. The right, I'll show you the outside here. That, as far as I know, is original.
Really?
The siding.
Wow.
And the other thing that was strange about this house is that siding was in really good shape. It was all whitewood siding, and you know it wasn't all rotted and all that. But I had to take the siding off to insulate the house, and to try to save the siding, you know, pull those nails out. You know, just the side. I just couldn't get the nails out without busting up the siding. So I gave up and I took most of the siding off, insulated it, sheathed it, and put, not my favorite, but what was available as a vinyl. And this is the only area back here I haven't done that.
Wow. Now you've got to ask about the old barn back there.
That could tell some stories,
Yeah,
I'm
you
sure.
want to look at that?
Sure.
I saw some dots on the map that I thought were the old barn, and the dots that I saw, I think there was a difference of something like 50 years. Do you remember that, Tom?
No, not exactly.
I know one map I was looking at had that dot on there,
Okay.
and let's say at 1850 had this, and it didn't have that. But then the next one I looked at was, I don't know, 1880 or something, and that
And
one
that
was
all of
on.
a sudden appeared. Huh?
Yeah.
They had a barn raising in between.
Yeah, more than likely. But this is all original. And I don't know when they started making that type of roofing.
It looks like a tin roof.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might even be a piece down here. So,
I never saw it put together like that, lapped.
there was a piece I had that fell off. I don't know where it is now.
You say you,
But,
you had to pull it off, or what? I didn't understand exactly what you
Oh,
said.
part
there.
of that roofing fell off. I had a piece that was laying on the ground out here. I wanted to show it to you.
Yeah.
I don't know where it got to.
The way it's collapsing, it's not safe to go in there.
No, it isn't.
No.
No. And I'm going to have this taken down. And I wanted to give the wood to my son. He wanted it. That was over a year ago.
Hmm.
Where did your son
Still
live?
here.
Still here.
Yeah, where did your son live?
At the time he lived in Minter, and now he lives in Brecksville. So he still says he's going to take it down. I'm going to give him until right middle of July, and then I'll call somebody and have them come in and take it down.
Looks like you got a lot of walnuts in there, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of black walnut trees right in this area.
Yes.
And this area right here, where this deep valley right here,
Mm-hmm.
That would have been where the mill would have been located.
Well, here's
Just
where
about.
here's where I think the mill was located.
I'm trying to remember when we walked this thing exactly where the spillway was.
Well, I think the spillway
That's
right
key.
up here.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful if you wanted to walk in there. Let's go around this way.
Mushy.
I just brush hogged that, and there's a lot of things that will get you.
Okay.
I found a lot of slate in here, and I found a lot of tile and stuff, and I'm thinking that the mill was here.
Because of all this.
Well, because of where the spillway was, I think the spillway was there. So, the way these things normally would go, you'd go from the spillway
Yeah.
into the wheel,
Into the wheel and
and then back out to
back
the creek.
to the creek.
Oh, does that make sense with you guys?
Oh,
where it would
Yeah.
be? And
So this would have been the upper level of the mill,
yeah, that's
and the lower level would have been probably right off the edge of this cliff.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
And I haven't had an opportunity to get my tractor in there and dig, because there's a water line in there that
Oh, yeah.
services the cottage down below, so you have to be careful with that. But I found a lot of miscellaneous old type building material right in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it was just
And
piled here or
So this would not just be native to the area. This would be something that has been.
Probably
like a
roofing
roof
material
slate.
over the mill.
Yeah, it's a roof slate.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the slate?
Yeah, I'm familiar with slate.
So you
Yeah.
cut the hell out of yourself if you aren't careful.
Well, I'm not that familiar with it. I've never been cut by it.
Yeah, well, the ancients used it for scalpels.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I think the Egyptians used it for cutting. These, let's see, there's a bunch of tile I found. Be careful of the roses and stubble.
Oh, a multiflora rose? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's terrible stuff.
Overgrown the property. But I found an awful lot of this kind of
Pipe?
Clay
yeah,
tile.
Yeah. I don't know what year that would
I don't know.
date back to, but you know, they're not even round.
Yeah.
So these are old. Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, here, hold it down and take a picture of it. Just right here, hold it where I can see the inside there.
You can see the oval shape, like they molded it out of clay and then got squashed.
Yeah, well, they let it set it out in the sun or something to dry.
Yeah.
prior to
Those look
putting
like
in
complete slates over there,
Oh, they are. I've got quite a few of them. But these all came from
right there.
over in there, yeah. Now this tile here looks like it's newer. And it's a different color. Let me get out of there. It's a different color. And maybe not newer. It's kind of
Yeah, that's still squashed.
collapsed.
Yeah.
And the way they used to put those down, just set them, and then they put a piece of fabric or something over the
Joint?
the joint, and they're just drain tile, obviously, not for carrying sewage water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for a few years until all the dirt gets back in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it worked.
So you've got just a little bit of every kind of vegetation, don't you?
Yeah, we sure do.
Any of the stuff that makes you scratch and itch.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. There's a lot of stinging nettle here. So.
Now
You're
there's a
familiar-
wall back there, isn't it?
Well, those are all stone that I've pulled out of here.
Okay. Well, so you created the wall.
Well, it's a pile. It's not a wall.
Okay. You created the wall.
My father was a stonemason, and that's probably the way he would have thought I would have built a wall. But yeah. But actually, that's just stuff I found here and I drug over.
And that's the best part.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna follow you.
easier to walk out right here.
Cowboy pine tree.
Not as much stubble.
Let's take a look where the spillway would have been.
Yeah, hang a left. Sure was a strange day, huh?
Yeah, cool and overcast.
Here we are at the end of June. I'm
Now-
wearing a jacket and you're wearing a jacket.
Yeah.
You got a jacket on.
Now, the original dam, I think was, you can see the level right here,
Yeah.
and the level of the embankment over here.
Boy, that would have taken a lot of work.
Yeah, you know, the guy, the Bumgardner, he was the road department. And to supplement his income, I think he was selling the township sand and gravel, and he stripped an awful lot of stuff out of here. And I think he lowered this to sell it to the township.
So,
I've been attempting to kind of put it back up the way it was.
so this whole thing over here would have been part of the mill pond.
Yeah, right.
So they diverted water from Bridge Creek into the mill pond to fill the pond.
Mm-hmm.
And this would have been the spillway down here.
The spillway would have been over here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably right through that walnut tree there.
Well, that's that one. Yeah, that is a walnut. Yeah, there was a. There was a huge elm tree, one of the largest elm trees around. They're still alive, just up until maybe 5 years ago. It's probably about that. Put your arms around it, it'd be about like that.
Wow.
Now, did you want? We can get the Kubota, and we can go. I can show you how the spillway worked. Yeah. What the hell was that crazy guy doing there?
He's talking about the size of that woman.
Yeah, right.
That old tree that isn't here
Neighbor
anymore.
lady would come over, and she was that big. You want to try getting the Kubota? We can.
Yeah, whatever.
Sure,
I'd love to do it. I mean,
Gotta watch out, he's a wild driver.
I don't know what Tom's schedule is, but I've got all day.
I got as much time as we need.
Then the other thing that Bumgardner did with this property.
Get some of that ripple stone.
Yeah.
So that's out of the creek.
Yeah, and there's stone in that underneath the concrete. I don't know how they moved them. You know, from this wide, and probably from here over to where Tom is, and about that thick.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like some of that stone that's been quarried over on Robinson Road over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Now, are these daylilies?
Yes.
These.
Yeah. We've been seeing
Yeah,
them all
sure.
over the place.
Yeah, they're all daylilies. These aren't wild. These are
Domesticated.
cultured.
Yeah.
But we do have some wild ditch lilies. So Joan calls them ditch lilies.
Yeah, well, we've been seeing them
Tiger.
all over the place.
Yeah, tiger lilies are very common around here. But those are different.
Anyhow, y'all were talking about the Robinson.
Oh yeah, Robinson Road. There's a place over there where they were quarrying sandstone,
Yes.
and we think some of it might have gone over to the temple over in.
Well, that was what
Curlin?
Yeah.
I heard too.
Yeah.
And if you go over there, you can see how would I explain this? Okay. Here's the creek. And the stone quarry was quarried, let's say in a portion over here. And then, like over here, there's another. It looks like it might be a creek bed, and it's not as deep as that. It's if this one was say this deep, this one next to it is like this. And somebody told me that in the winter time, they fill that with water, and they put the stone on there, and they skidded the stone out of it. It sounds possible. Then the other thing they could have done is just use a sled and put the stone on the sled and drug it out through this.
Now, would that have been the Claudia Standard Quarry?
The which?
Claudia Standard Quarry?
I don't know.
Okay. I know that's where they got all the stone for the temple.
Yeah, that would have been Penitentiary Glen up at.
Oh, okay. Is that what they call that now?
I think that's what it
That's
is.
a different site, though.
That's a different site.
Okay.
That's up in Lake County. That's much closer actually to the temple than this is. But this stone here, either that's been quarried over here, was either intended for the temple or for the South Side Church, which is also in the same location, just down the road.
Oh, okay.
So it's one or the other.
Yeah.
We can't say for sure.
But I thought it was just interesting the way they quarried it and then put it over into this, what we'll say, the old roadway, and drug it out to where Clark Road is.
So the difference in the elevation is the quarried stone. Is that what we're
No, not the quarry stone. The stone quarry is here.
Yeah.
And there's a creek, and then there's the stone quarry. And they grab the stone, they somehow or other pick it up and put it over on the secondary one.
Okay.
Did you notice that when you went over?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying.
Then they take it and they drug it out to the road. I'm assuming it was Clark Road. Now Clark Road changed, and Clark Road used to come straight down here. Are you aware of that? You can see that on the map.
The old maps show it straight through.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now let's grab the Kubota before it gets rained.
Yeah, I want to put this camera away for now.
You know that house I told you we were dosing in New York? Yeah. People that got it set it for back taxes. It was that fallen down, and so they had a courthouse auction for back taxes. And they got the property for that.
Wow, next to nothing.
Wow.
And it's right on the Susquehanna River.
Oh my.
It has also a mill farm and all that stuff. Really great job. You've done a great service.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like is the vinyl siding.
Well, the story that we'll tell is that his descendants discovered it, or got the patent for the vinyl siding, so it makes it 8 foot.
Thank you. That would be great.
Well, Tom, you've really done a good service for me personally to have made this arrangement. I'm just thrilled to be here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Well, I mean, geez, this is our roots.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of our roots anyway.
Oh, yeah,
A very
totally.
important part. As I recall, John Roper used to be a tax collector. I forget what the position was, taking care of the poor, and a whole bunch of jobs he had along the way.
Well, let me tell you about the generation preceding him, John Roper. It would have been, I guess, his grandfather's family, Ephraim Roper. He and 10 sons all served in the American Revolution, and it was the largest number of individuals from one family that served in the American Revolution.
They survived.
I'd have to check with the internet. I don't have access to it.
No, they survived the war. I think.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't know if there. I can't remember that just
that's
off the top of
a
my
lot for
head,
one
but I
family.
remember the 10 sons and the father.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
And then this used to be called what, the Western Reserve,
Yes.
and I don't know if the property came from service in the Revolutionary War or not, but it might have.
I understood that the property was available to people who served in the Revolution
Okay.
because in lieu of payment, the Congress couldn't pay them. So they gave them land.
Okay. So there's a connection
Yeah.
somehow that brought them here from Massachusetts.
Yes.
So
Oh, the way I thought it was there's a group in Massachusetts who had somehow or other petitioned the government to buy or whatever they did to get this land of the Western Reserve. And then I thought they sold it to
Yeah.
whoever was interested in it.
and I just don't know that answer.
But it's primarily, you're saying, from veterans of the Civil War and payment for something that...
Actually, the American Revolution,
the
American Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah, we're talking 17.
Oh, sure.
yeah, we're talking at a
78.
time when
absolutely, yeah.
Congress didn't have money. They couldn't pay
Yeah.
the soldiers. So they gave them land.
Oh, do
out
they
in the
give
frontier.
Do they give it to a lot of people, or just
Those that served.
one particular group?
Those who served, I would
Just
believe.
Mhm.
And
So anybody that had served,
and
That's it. Benedict Arnold. He didn't get any.
yeah, he missed out. Oh well.
so Clark Road, that would have come
Yeah,
right across here.
Right here. Here's where I think it came.
right where the depression is over here.
Yeah, you got this little hump here. I kind of think.
This would have been the berm
Yeah, I kind of think
on
this was
the
it.
roadway.
Okay, so
Yeah,
and since this is an add-on, they would have been right off the road.
and
yeah.
that's typical. You know,
Right on
of
the road.
What your home was in the 1800s. You know, they certainly didn't want a long driveway. You got to negotiate that with a horse. So here's the road, and there's the house.
Yeah, didn't have
That's my
zoning to tell people hey, it had to have this much setback from the road, right?
Yeah.
It would have been
some of your
grandfathered
maps,
anyway, right?
It is now.
Tom's on your maps. Did it show this? Did it show where this road would have come out?
I believe the 1840 map did show it. And yeah, that Clark Road right now comes along, takes a
Right.
jog around
Yes.
and over to Robinson. And if you follow the original Clark Road, if it would have gone straight across, it would have gone into what is called Pearl Road over
Yes.
on the other side.
Right.
Yes.
And they forded the creek.
Yeah. Which is
And-
probably the reason they went around. Trying to bridge that creek was probably not that easy.
No. I could never find out where the ford was either on the. But,
The Bum Gardens probably took it.
yeah, I may have sold it to somebody.
I will, when we get to the internet, I'll bring this stuff up, Tom, and I'll show you how that Bumgardner ties into the Roper family.
Okay, that'd be
So
interesting to
that's
see.
interesting.
Oh yeah.
You know, had we not been here, I would have never known that.
Oh
But it's interesting to see how the property transferred down.
yes. Can I get you guys a cup of coffee or something like that?
I think I'm personally good, but I would like to take a picture of that door inside.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, there's trouble with some of these shoes. Yeah. That one pair I have there has deep treads and
Well, I can see we got the similar taste in shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, these treads here are big. They clear out real easily.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
good. This one hangs on to everything. The pair I've got on is fine. That's all right.
Okay, I've got to get a picture of this picture.
Oh, okay.